Now I know I'm going to anger some people out there because I know a lot of people don't like David Zaslav. This is not a, praising him or anything to that nature. I think there's been too much jumping the gun to situations like what we're going to about talk to today. And the reason is that you have to understand, even as a streaming site or a broadcast studio, movie studio, and all that, you have budgets that you have to maintain. You have to maintain the company. You have to maintain, the people that are also your investors. You have to maintain, the protection for them because they put money into it. But this day and age, and this is something that hasn't really changed since the inception of putting old TV shows on channels. Just whether it's on broadcast TV, cable, streaming. One thing we like these days is classic television. And, the classic television, classic movies. We've seen a big push on certain shows. I mean, one example is, Suits. Suits had a big renaissance to the situation when it hit Netflix. People were loving it. Now there's a new series, Suits LA, that came forward because of this. But, there are a lot of other TV shows on various streaming sites, from Peacock to Paramount, from Sling to Tubi, Pluto TV as well. And people are watching. This is because, Hollywood ain't the way it is these days. And there's not that much out there to watch as far as good shows. There are some out there, you have Yellowstone, except for the last season. You have, the Tulsa King and many others from Taylor Sheridan line up to that point. You have some of the horror, some of the anime from Japan, which has done very well itself, and it's been in the news a lot lately. Some great stuff. Solo Leveling is a great show. It's becoming one of the top shows right now. On Crunchyroll, it's peaked. It's peaked over some of the best shows, including One Piece. That's how popular it is. People are watching the music video. The woman who basically sings the title line for the show. Like I said, it's really good. If you haven't seen Solo Leveling, you need to catch it. Now, some sites like Max and Peacock and so on, sometimes they remove content. Recently, I talked about Monty Python's Flying Circus. Monty Python Flying Circus, you had to pay to watch it. Now you don't have to. It is available on Tubi, and I think Sling is the other one, and one other place that's airing episodes on that, and some of the movies. Some of the specials, some of the documentaries, some of the live stage shows that they've done on there. But, at one point, it was only exclusive to one streaming site. People got upset when it got taken off. It was the same thing with a lot of the Warner Brothers animation, cartoons, and stuff like that. People were getting upset. Stuff that was being removed from Cartoon Network and stuff like that. Yes, some of it has been shelved. All My Means on there. It might be for a reason that they've shelved the situation. Others have moved on to places like Hulu, to Tubi TV, and many other sites where you're able to catch these animation series. Now, recently, people were freaking out that Looney Tunes was being completely removed from Max. And that was including the newer Looney Tunes show that was just recently put out. That it was being removed, and people were upset about it. And they said, "Oh, where am I going to get my Looney Tunes? Where am I going to get my Bugs Bunny? And my Daffy Duck?" And people were freaking the fuck out. Now, we're going to do this in two parts on here. Part one, let's talk first about the newer show. The new Looney Tunes show. People were, some people like it. I'm not too far into it. I preferred the older stuff, because there are some things, like, Elmer Fudd without his rifle. I don't like that, to the situation. and some of the things how they handle it. But all in all, the animation is good. Some of the bits are good on there, but it's nothing to like the original. But some people do like it, and okay, that's fine. But they were upset that it was removed from Warner Brothers and Max. But guess what? It's not shelved. It's not shelved at all. It's moving to Tubi TV. And I'm going to read a little bit of this off because there's some on there from Animation Magazine. There's a little bit more to this on there. Looney Tunes show and more WB animation classics heading to Tubi. And this is coming in April. This is really soon. Free ad-supported streaming service Tubi is adding a slew of Warner Brothers animation titles to its lineup, including 3-time Emmy-nominated revival series The Looney Tunes Show. The newly confirmed additions will arrive April 1st. Yeah, that's right. It's not an April Fool's joke, because some people will say, it's got to be an April Fool's joke. No, it's no fooling. Most stuff, you have to understand, most stuff when it comes to streaming, they will drop it within the first 5 days of the month. Some of the bigger stuff will be like midway and toward the end. The Looney Tunes show originally aired on Cartoon Network and was developed for television by WBA Sam Register, Spike Brandt, and Tony Sevron, featuring the voices of Jeff Bergen, Bob Bergen, Maurice LaMarche, Jim Cummings, Fred Armisen, Kristen Wiig, Billy West, Gray DeLisle, Eric Bauza, and more. The show adapted the classic Looney Tunes characters to a sitcom format centering on Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck daily interactions with their fellow cartoon subordinates. In addition, Tubi will welcome a slew of Scooby-Doo adventures, including Scooby-Doo and the Spooky Scarecrow, Scooby-Doo and the Ghastly Ghouls, Scooby-Doo and the Meta Munch Menace, plus another Looney Tunes title, Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. I love that one. That's the one I love a lot, is the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. That was a fun show. Tubi said it's committed to preserving a place for vintage animated content for streaming audiences of all ages. The platform is already a home to an archive of cartoon classics, including the Flintstones, Archie Weir's Mysteries, and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, to name a few. Also, a lot of the Scooby-Doo series is already available on Tubi TV. You can see this on there. So, this is free, ladies and gentlemen. This is free. This is not where you're going to have to pay anything. You don't have to sign up for this. But I do recommend, for Tubi TV, do sign up. The reason is, if you're watching something on there and you're not signed up, you're not going to you're not going to bookmark to the last place you watched it at. If you forgot where you left off, if you sign in, you know where you left off at. Plus, Tubi's algorithm will recommend you stuff, to that situation. So if you like the Looney Tunes stuff, it'll recommend other cartoons that you may enjoy, because it does have a good chunk of cartoons, whether it's U.S. or overseas or even Japanese anime. Yeah, it does have a good chunk of Japanese anime out there. And then some independent anime stuff that basically was good, and most people can't believe that it's on this streaming site. But here's the other half of this. Now, the other part of this is that the older stuff, the old Looney Tune cartoons, Merry Melodies, and whatever was on Max is gone as well. People are freaking out about that even more. But understand this, okay? Right here if you're watching this on YouTube, you can watch a lot of the old Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, even going back to the black and white stuff, right here on YouTube. Some of it in marathons. There are some that are marathons, because a lot of the older stuff is public domain. Even the controversial stuff, the World War II stuff, all that, it's right here on YouTube. The other half of this, and this has been going on for quite some time, including like the YouTube as well. The original Merry Melodies, Looney Tune cartoons, some of the stuff that goes into the Saturday morning lineups and stuff like that, is available on all 3 MeTV channels. MeTV, MeTV Plus, and MeTV Tunes. MeTV, the original Saturday mornings, you get a lineup. I think it's about what is it, 9 to 10 or 10 to 11, somewhere around there. They hold the latter half of the cartoon block on MeTV. MeTV Plus, in the Sunday night block, about 8 p.m., they run a ton of cartoons, including the Looney Tunes stuff, the Merry Melodies, a lot of the older stuff to that nature. And then, of course, on daily, weekdays, and parts on the weekends, you can watch Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies on MeTV Tunes. All three of these channels are free, available if they're in your location via antenna. Certain cable outlets already have all three of these channels available, like Verizon, Spectrum, I believe Comcast also, and one or two others on there. If it happens to be, because even though MeTV Tunes is working on a free app, which is eventually going to come down the line, I think it's another year away on the app, and you'll be able to get that. But if you can't, there are streaming services like Friendly, which will charge you $7 a month, I think it is, and you can get all three of these, the MeTV trifecta on there for, just a little bit above a cup of coffee. So they're not gone. They're, the thing about it is, people freaking out, they're taking it off my channel. They're taking my show off the channel. A lot of this stuff needs to make money. These companies need to make money. You have to understand, WB, Warner Brothers itself, is in a financial pinch. They need to make up all the money that was lost during the Time Warner days and the AT&T days. They lost a lot of money. You don't understand how hard, this company fell. And still they have issues they need to resolve, things that they have to change. The woke part of the situation's on there. All the movies that they're putting out there, you know what I mean. Then some of the TV shows. They're trying to keep Cartoon Network alive with the Adult Swim. Boomerang is not going to be around too much longer. I'll tell you that. And especially, because you can get most of that on MeTV Tunes anyway. But, you have to look to the perspective of these companies, they have a financial responsibility. The best way to do it is to lease rights out to other streaming sites or broadcast television. That's always been a situation since they thought of this situation. Remember, a lot of the people from the sitcom days of the 50s and 60s got screwed out of a lot of money. Why? Because their contracts never thought that they basically, that basically these shows would be put in syndication. That's what they used to call it, syndication. That basically they would put it on it. I mean, one of the big channels was TBS back in the day. TBS was first formed by Ted Turner. What did they have on there? Gilligan's Island repeats and Brady Bunch and many other shows. And they did very well for itself. It built up to a big company today. But now, they have to change their parameters now. Same thing with TNT. They had some great stuff on TNT and TBS. Now they have to shuffle back a little bit in time to movies, specials, sporting events, just to keep themselves alive. But the part of the situation is that they had syndication of shows. That's what happened with that gay cable network. Basically, what they did was they lost a lot of money. And what did they put on there? Classic episodes, Laverne and Shirley, and many other TV shows that they went through up and down the line. And what's popular now? What is really, truly popular these days? Classic television, MeTV, Emergency, Adam 12, the Beverly Hillbillies, The Andy Griffin Show, Perry Mason, The Carol Burnett Show, Hogan's Heroes, and so on and so on and so on. These are shows people are watching. This is why, right now MeTV is in the top 25 best TV networks out there right now. Top 25. And they continue to increase to this situation. Because people are watching these shows. They love the Westerns. They love the classics. They love the Saturday night, the Spenguli classic movie of the week. Then you got Batman and Star Trek and Lost in Space and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. and the Night Stalker. They like watching All in the Family. They like watching all these shows. I was watching Chico and the Man on Tubi TV. That was on Tubi TV for quite some time. And there are other great classics out there. There's some stuff people don't realize that it ever existed. This is the nature of the beast when it comes to broadcasting. You need to make money. You need to put money out. You need to lease out some of your programming. Sometimes, Blu-ray, DVD doesn't work out too well. People don't want to spend that much. Well, these days they will now. But back years ago, you might get some people that might buy it. But it was better to lease rights to another network or a competing network that you might get either money out of it or you might get some of their programming out of that situation to save money. It all comes down to finances. That's always the situation. We're not losing Looney Tunes. And there are other streaming libraries out there that have a lot of their old stuff. Bugs Bunny, Daffy, Porky, they're on the internet out there. You can find them. It's very easy to find out there. If you haven't collected the box sets yet, which I would suggest on there, especially the old stuff, the older box sets that basically doesn't have as they say, content warnings on them. That's the stupidest thing that ever exists when it comes to cartoons, content warnings. Dropping an anvil, using a gun, in a cartoon, it's a comedic value. And they said, it was from a different time, a different place. They said, how a particular minority looks. It's a cartoon. It's a caricature. It's not meant to insult anybody. It's basically a cartoon. That's all it is. When it comes to certain minorities that, they said, no, we can't do it. But other minorities, they're okay with. It's part of the joke itself. This is one of the reasons why certain Dr. Seuss books are no longer available out there. If you could find them, you're going to pay a hefty price to them. But it was people that did not like the drawings of certain characters in the books. And they said, those are characters. They're not meant to be reality. It's not a real world. See, this is the same situation that we're having, and we're going to talk about this eventually down the line, because they tried passing a Texas law, which that law was, even if it was to that situation, because the way, again, this is the internet going crazy over this. We have Supreme Court precedents on anyone that's trying to shut down certain animation, cartoons, anime, and like that, because they said, well, it looks like kids, or it looks like this particular on there. We can't have that. It's cheese pizza. Sorry. Supreme Court has already ruled on it back in the early 2000s. There are those out there, and we've discussed it before, about obscenity laws. They want to change. They want to put us back prior to the 1970s. What does that mean? People get arrested. Comedians, writers, bookstore owners. This people don't think to the situation. You can't change these laws because you're trying to say, I'm trying to protect the kids and stuff like that. You're not protecting anybody. What you're doing is you're doing censorship. But we're going to leave that for another show. Actually, we're leaving that for our Taco Thursday, when Taco Thursday returns. Hopefully that's soon. Hopefully back April we'll have Taco Thursday back up on there. But what I want you to do next is to comment. Let me know your thoughts about this. Tell me how you feel about it. Do you understand now that you were not going to, Looney Tunes was not going away. It was going nowhere. And the other part of this is, and I didn't get a chance to put this up there, that Acme movie is being sold. Yeah, that's right. It's being sold to another company. I think it's the company that dealt with the current Porky Pig, Daffy Duck movie. I think it's the same production house. So eventually, we're probably going to get to see that Acme movie eventually on there. But like I said, comment, like, share this video, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. Yes, we are a little light to the situation, and we've explained this before. We're taking a little step back and handling some of our family obligations that we on there. We've had some illnesses in the family, including myself. We're also putting finally to close something that's been going on for multiple years on our family. We're finally putting as they say, we're closing the door on that issue, which is a good thing. Which basically, we will finally be able to see the light of day. In other words, to the point on there. But that's another day, another story. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, that's all, folks. Oh, oops. That's all, folks.